to Strange Minds 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be getting back into The Octunnumi by Trevor Allen Forrest. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button. It would mean a great deal to us. And if you're not already, please subscribe. We would love to have you guys here. But without further ado, please grab a snack, grab a drink, or sit back and relax, and let's get to the Octunnumi. This is an outrage. Housing the Alliance Council chambers, the underground vaults allowed direct access to and from each insomid. To mark the access points, brushed black metal doors set into arched brickwork swept around the circular room below the domed ceiling, the subdued lighting bouncing off the elaborate ironwork of each identical door. No sign indicated which insomid lay beyond, and with which location changing, and with each location changing randomly. Only the person charged with the ability to open their designated insomid access point has the ability to identify and gain entry, and even they were randomly chosen at short notice to accompany their counselor. To further ensure protection and anonymity, counselors were unknown to anyone except their heads of state, and were therefore afforded an unencumbered life in their home insomid. They were, after all, the decision makers, the ones who had absolute final say, and so meetings were conducted in the same vein. The chambers allowed for all who entered it to be identical, a look randomly chosen from a selection of suggestions put forward in advance by heads of state. The change instantaneously happened on passing through the doors, leaving their identity, voice, accent, tone, mannerisms, and, of course, abilities behind to be reclaimed on their return. As had been tradition, Carnival Day was always a ran-from-me day. The ran-from day, after all, had been the driving force between the Alliance, without whom it mostly likely would not have happened. As a mark of their contribution, the choice of identity for the carnival meeting was always the choice of the infirmy king, who, not known for taking these things seriously, was to thank for the extensive room now awash with Ephraims, the mythical troll type. Oversized, hairy, lumbering lumps challenged, one could say, in the looks department, and being dressed head to toe in ensemble straight out of Mardi Gras. These measures allowed complete freedom to voice opinions and discuss ideas openly in the knowledge that complete honesty prevailed. Not, it has to be said, always a good thing. In the vaults, no one knew who you were or where you were from. No bad feeling could spill over into the day-to-day existence of the Octunnumi or insomids within the Alliance. This level of security was a throwback to the early days of the Octunnumi's arrival, before the concept of the Alliance had even been put forward as an idea, when insomids had been hastily created to give immediate sanctuary to those affected by the Amonariathan race. Given its effectiveness, the fact that the vaults still allowed direct access into the private offices of each counselor throughout the Octunnumi's network, it remained that way. As the Alliance grew, the vaults naturally evolved into the preferred meeting place for matters relating to the members and their instruments. The neutrality, ease of access, and ability to come and go without publicity or comment allowed for members to state or conduct their business quickly and undisturbed. Today is such a day. Having arrived for the traditional pre-carnival gathering, the guests have mingled in their garish hats, fake flower garlands, beads, and tassels around the central table, with its high-backed chairs placed uniformly shoulder to shoulder. They have taken their places, their assigned assistants standing slightly to their left behind each chair, while their charges perched their bulky troll physiques as best as they can on the demure seats and try not to crush the delicate teacups with their chunky hands. They have made pleasant small talk and exchanged views on the weather, local sports, and other such niceties. No one has mentioned the empty seats, the continued unrest, and the looming threat. No, these matters will be discussed at the appropriate time as protocol allows. This is a place for civilized and gentle behavior, until Margarine informs them that their stay is to be extended indefinitely. What is the meaning of this? The council, to her left, demands, as they stand, sending their chair skidding across the highly polished black granite floor, their huge form now looming over neighboring counselors. The infirm king, Margarine mutters irritably to herself, taking in the sight before her. She had hoped that this year he might just have picked something not quite so outrageous, shooting Theos an icy stare as he collects coins from the boys. Clearly, she should have known better. Oh yes, she concedes, viewing the sea of multicolored outfits. The Ephraim King will be in raptures over this one. It is my job to ensure your safety, Margarine replies, as she, Reg, and Trad take their seats. And not for the first time, she is relieved that as members of the Octunnumi, she and her team did not need anonymity. Were not required to take the assigned disguise and were therefore thankfully not in Mardi Gras party dress. By keeping us here against our will, prisoners, the question is directed at her from her right, its owner slamming his headdress to the table. Not at all, Margarine replies, calmly addressing the disgruntled gathering. It is not safe for you to return. You are all aware of the current threat. And hiding out here is your answer? Ensuring your safety, Theos asserts from behind Margarine, is hardly hiding out. Then I say we are prisoners. Again, it is only concern for your safety, Margarine reiterates. Why were the correct procedures not followed? Several are now standing, others banging on the table and jeering in support of their colleagues. Remaining seated, Margarine waits for the noise to be quiet. In the circumstances, she says, we decided. You decided? The counselor, directly across the vast table, yanks the layer of beads from his neck, scattering them over the surface. I thought the days of our worlds being dictated by your kind were over. We are not dictating, Theos growls. Then perhaps you could explain why we are not free to go. As all eyes fall on Vibi, darting about the table, gathering the bouncing, rolling, shiny beads, dropping each into the compartment in her chest, Margarine takes a moment to observe the gathering before her. Every Insomid throughout the British Isles should be represented here. The empty chairs suggest otherwise. And it was those that had not responded, those who were not here, that were her main concern. She needed to bring this meeting to a conclusion so that she could turn her attention back to finding them. Standing, she smiles briefly. Counselors, she says, flicking images to the air above the table. This is what is happening to the Insomids. If yours hasn't already been affected. She glances at the counselor to her right. As she continues, then it will be. She claps her hands and the room is filled with images of all the affected Insomids. So yes, you are free to leave, but to go where? Of the Insomids still under our protection, onward access points are inaccessible, but our people are for the most part safe, Margarine replies, meaning that with each celebration, she closes the images. Most of your fellow beings are here with us already, and the rest, we are still in process of escorting many to safe Insomids. Reg interjects. This is still a breach of protocol, I can assure you. Theos snaps. That we followed protocol. Your access here would have without doubt been blocked or intercepted. So you are closing the Insomids. We are not, Theos replies. However, someone is. This cannot be the work of one man, a counselor across from Margarine states. He must have allies. Is that why there are empty seats at this table? Another asks. We have yet to have confirmation as to why some of our colleagues are not here, Margarine states. You mean there are instruments against us? Until more information is available, sir, turning away from the room so as not to distract Margarine. As she continues to address the meeting, Theos answers Smythe's calm request. Yes, Smith. It's... Never mind. Sir, I wonder if you could spare a moment. Have you found him? Theos asks. Yes, I have, sir. Well? As I said, sir, if you could spare a moment, what now? Theos glances at the heated discussions continue behind him. Yes, sir. And that is the end of this chapter, my dear friends. If you haven't, please hit that like button. And we'll see you in the next video. This is Ruby, signing off.